Hi, Greg Pay, English film nerd, living in England. I couldn't make it this week, unfortunately, but I didn't want other episodes to pass by without me giving a little love to Sam Neill, who was an actor I loved. I loved to bits. He was a unique talent, I feel. Had incredible range, brought real depth and humanity to every character he played. Brought heart, brought humour, brought so much. And, I love that guy. I love to see him crop up so many times over the last 40 odd years of his career. Every time he popped up, he gave a great performance and he just gave it his all. And I loved him. Everyone on the Raiders, the podcast, loved him, and everyone I've encountered, online loved him. There's been widespread outpouring of love for Samuel, which is, you know, to be expected, but lovely at the same time. So I'm sure my co-host will do him proud, except for Tyler, who is a monster. Just an absolute fucking monster.
Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week I learned that the phrase fuck around and find out, actually, in the middle there, it has the letters FDA mixed in, which is a shame they couldn't really keep them that way throughout America. But if you're going to take a chainsaw to areas you think should be defunded, then you get explosive diarrhea from lettuce. And this is Raiders of Podcast.
Yay! You just paused a little too long for me. I was feeling uncomfortable there.
I've said this before. I'm never sure how long to leave it after explosive diarrhea.
No, I understand. I trust me.
I had quite a good week, Dave.
Nice.
Movie-wise, I had quite a good week, and it was kind of catch up with a few things. I finally watched the remake of Speak No Evil. Have you seen it?
I have. I haven't mentioned it because I saw it through alternate services, and I don't usually talk about things when I do it that way. Unless asked, then I'll be honest. I bootleg that shit.
It landed on Netflix recently.
Oh, see, that's good. It didn't hear.
James McAvoy's great. Mackenzie Davis, I always usually like, and she was fine. I thought Scoot McNairy was good in his role. But the thing is, I think I probably end up rating this on a par with the original. But that's because...
Ooh, just because of McAvoy?
Well, yeah, and because it's this might sound stupid, but the original is the better film, but a tougher watch in many ways, and kind of like not one I would think about ever revisiting, and just it was more of an endurance test at times. So that, although it's a great film, also impacted it for me watching it. Whereas the remake, I mean, I disagree with the folk who were like, oh, it's one of the few remakes that improves and blah, blah, blah. And it does the absolute remake nonsense by the end that I really resented. But the rest of it, I thought McAvoy was so good. And I thought they kind of walked that tightrope even better. Helped, I think, by the main cast members, just making it that bit more bearable as it's sort of moving darker and darker. So yeah, I know that's maybe not the best reason to put something on a par with the original, and the original is definitely like more powerful and more, I would say, maybe
the original is
confrontational.
Well, it's more confrontational. It's also a razor sharp social satire. I'm sorry, anybody that says that the American remake is better is not someone you should listen to.
No,
like, I mean, straight out, they don't listen. They're lying to you.
They are all based on that very, very, recognizable like worry of saying, yeah, you should visit sometime, and having people think, yeah, we'll visit, or like extending an invite and that actually happening. These things aren't done. Holiday friends are friends you make promises to that are never kept. And with other friends in day-to-day business, if you say you should pop round for tea sometimes, you don't mean that. You want to just remain solitary and alone, unless you really, 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 really are desperate for company. Otherwise, you are just a psycho, as proven in Speak No Evil. I also finally watched Alpha. Have you seen this one, the new Julia DeCorder film?
Oh no, that is in my stack, but I've not seen that yet.
I'll be interested in your thoughts. I did not like it, and I was hoping I would. I've liked both of her previous features, Raw and Titan. This
Titan.
one, honestly, Dave, this one felt about 40 years too late.
Oh, see, if you feel that way, that means I am going to be just brutal. So now I'm excited. Before I was like, yeah, I like the other two, but now it's like, oh.
I was, by the time it finished, I was really trying to sort of think of other ways it could be interpreted and what else it could apply to. It feels so very analogous to the sort of the main thing being explored as a metaphor for something else that I don't think there is anything else there. And if there's nothing else there, and she's made the film exactly how she wants to make it and about what she wants to do, it definitely feels like over 40 years too late. It's a strange one, and there are some nice moments of imagery, and there are some like good individual moments. I'm not going to say it's absolutely without merit. I know some people have liked this almost as much as her other films, but this for me is the first kind of miss from her. Two absolutely brilliant films, and then this was just it's, to me it just fails at whatever she's trying to do. The other one that I seem to be out of step with people on is The Invite. I heard so much about this. I heard Olivia Wilde doing the publicity trail, and I enjoyed it. She's very enthusiastic. She's had some interviews where she's been able to address some of the backlash she had with Don't Worry Darling. Some of it that was kind of almost personally targeting her and showing some societal issues. And she's also generally, from what I've heard, been quite open about this being a remake. Based on a previous film from a guy who'd adapted it from his own stage play. And this premise has been reworked in countries like France, Italy, Switzerland, and one or two others. So she's been quite open about that, and that's always nice and refreshing for somebody to acknowledge that up front. But then I've heard people praise this and go on about how good Wilde is in front of the camera and how great it is when Seth Rogen remembers to act. And I'm just like, what? Like, I didn't think Wilde was great in this, although she has like I would say the least interesting character. Seth Rogen is being very Seth Rogen-y, but in a husband role. So
I mean, that's kind of what he's been doing for a little while now. He's just
yeah,
Seth
but
Rogen playing the schlubby husband. I don't get the appeal of Seth Rogen still. I don't.
I often don't mind them, but people were
Oh, I do. And
talking.
his Apple movies and TV series have been just shit. And the fact folks have been gushing over it, I don't know what the fuck people are smoking anymore. I think COVID just broke us
Yeah,
beyond
I
repair.
still don't get the absolute love for the studio. There was some good stuff in there, but it's for me it's way down the list when you're like ranking Apple programs. Just it probably doesn't even make my top 10. But Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz are really good in this. They're both very funny. I've liked Edward Norton's comedy work before. Really, I like Death to Smoochie. I thought he was pretty funny in Birdman. Penelope Cruz is great in this. She's probably the revelation in terms of, like, she's done stuff that has been comedic before, but this is, from what I recall, this is a different type. She's got her sexiness there present, correct, and she's got insights and commentary about others that she just kind of blurts out, and she's very, she's very open and direct with people in a way that puts them on the back foot, and it's great. So that's the problem for me, though, because The Invite is a four-hander, is how I worded it when I was reviewing it. But to me, two of them work. And if you're doing a four-hander, I think all four need to be,
Good.
on the top of their game. Yeah.
Just as actors, Wilde and Rogen will never be on the top of their game. I'm sorry. Disagree if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean that you may be right. And I went into this with goodwill. As I said, I'd heard other people who'd enjoyed it, and I like how Wilde was kind of. It was almost like she was getting a bit more energy back with this publicity trail being, there was nothing detracting from what was on screen, and she could discuss it. So that seemed quite good for her. So I was happy for her. And for a comedy as well, but we all know, we say it often enough how subjective it is, but it didn't really make me laugh that much. Didn't tickle my funny bone. What did tickle my funny bone though, Dave?
Hold on, before you move on, have you seen the original, the People Upstairs?
I have not. No.
Okay, all right.
No.
I'm just wondering. I think I really like the People Upstairs. So I was just wondering if you could compare them. But okay, rock on.
Now, is that the play or was that an adaptation? Because I thought his film was called Sentimental.
No, I think
it's the Spanish guy.
That's the American. That's the original title. The People Upstairs is the English language
right
title. The play is I know it. I do know it. It's oh shit. Los Vicanos de Arriba, I think. Do not quote me on that. I could have absolutely butchered it.
I just hope I've written the right information in my review, because I'm sure I said Sentimental, but that might be
I think that's the film name. But again, I saw it, in my head, I saw it with the English title, which was The People Upstairs. So
that's right. Yeah, I hadn't gone into all the detail about the play and the adaptations. But when you say The People Upstairs as well, that confuses me, because I heard that and I used to think that was the title of a weird little film that I quite enjoy called The Ones Below.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
Yeah. So, like, when I was trying to piece together my thoughts on this one, I was all over the place. Like, trying to remember different titles, trying to remember the right title. It's like, has it got David Morris in it? No.
I think The People Upstairs is also the Korean version's name.
All right.
Which that one has.
It's definitely, I can see why it's a premise that could work in different territories, like picking up on different attitudes.
The Korean version I also have in my pile, because that's Kim Song-hoon, who did the LOC.
Oh,
and
nice.
Oh fuck.
Was it The Chaser?
No. Yeah, I think so. Yes, Chaser.
They were about
The Terror Live. Like, he's done, like, I've really liked his stuff that I've seen, but I haven't seen, like, he's done more than I've seen. But from what I've seen, I've really enjoyed.
Do you like Minions, Dave?
No.
Not at all?
No.
I mean, I quite like Minions, and I liked the Minions movie that had Sandra Bullock in it as well, and I just have fun with Minions. But Minions and Monsters was a delight. a delight, and it made me laugh hard, and it's
I mean,
great.
you know, after
And
8 movies, them getting one right doesn't shock me.
the funny thing was, I'd heard people discuss this, and there's a podcast with people saying, "Who is this for? Who's this for?" And I went to see it, and I came out, I was like, "Me, it's for me!" Like, it has the minions being silly and just the usual shenanigans. But as you may have heard, it really puts some like slap bang in the middle of what is it, like 20s and 30s classic Hollywood. And it's great. Like, all the references are just pretty wonderful. Loads of cameos, loads of like recreated scenes and movie moments, and the plot works well for them, like just being put in that environment for the fun factor. I thought it was fantastic, and I don't understand why you wouldn't go and see this and not have, like, I would assume kids would still laugh at the minion-esque quality of the jokes. Doesn't matter if they don't understand, there's a reference to Citizen Kane or Casablanca, whatever. The minions are there to carry it. And then there's the other non-movie stuff that they will enjoy. And then if you have a child who is watching movies and has the patience for some of the stuff that's referenced, you can show them bits and they can, like, hopefully enjoy these things from history. Okay, they're like, oh, that's the thing from Minions, but you've suddenly got them watching a bit of, Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin or whatever. You're not going to plunge them right into Citizen Kane, but you've got stuff. So
I
I
don't
don't
have
see
that
what the problem
problem
is.
because
Oh yeah, I know you
I
don't,
gave
but
Killa a
yeah.
well-rounded film education in her formative years.
But I just think it's. I think wondering about putting these elements together in the film, just I never wondered about it.
I get it.
Like,
I just like being snobby and classier than you every once in a while. Like, it's so rare that like okay, I'm good now.
that's
Thank you.
fine. Yeah, so well, because you really, really don't like the Minions, I guess I wouldn't recommend it to you, but I would still be interested to hear if you thought that there are many, many references and Easter eggs throughout this, and I would hope that you would at least find some of them cute and well done. And last but not least, as I messaged you earlier, it was a bit of a 5 alarm day when I realised the latest title on Shudder was actually a good, quite straightforward horror movie, and that is called Saccharine. And aside from Touch Me, which isn't straightforward, it's probably the best one I've watched on there in quite some time. It's basically about a medical student who decides to try a weight loss drug, but then discovers it may have human ashes in it. That might be the main component. And then she starts to experiment with maybe making some of her own pills and continuing her weight loss journey, and things don't stay healthy. It's very good. It's a little bit creepier than I expected. I thought it was going to go from what I've said there and from the summary that I checked out beforehand, I suspected it was either going to go a little bit body horror, or maybe, um, let's have someone who's got to be looking up to Hannibal, but it's different to that. It's more, it has a spookiness to it that I really appreciate, and then um, just puts everything together well to lead up to a pretty great finale as well. So I was impressed by that one. I've got to fully formulate my thoughts on it, but it's a high recommend, especially for a Shudder edition.
Have you seen the director's other stuff?
I'm not sure. Natalie
Natalie
James.
Erica James. She did Relic. God, that's been a little while, like 6 years ago now. That's the Emily Mortimer flick about
That got a Kevin 7.
yeah.
Was that the mother or the gran
dementia.
had dementia?
Yeah,
And kind of
yeah.
the horror movie stuff.
Yeah, and she also made Apartment 7A, which I wasn't big on, but some people really enjoyed.
Oh yes, the
Rosemary's Baby
slide
prequel, which
yeah.
I don't get why you do that, but whatever.
Yes, I agree with you. Not that it was necessarily badly
it wasn't
made.
It wasn't
felt
poorly
pointless.
made. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that did not get a Kevin 7.
Yeah,
that did not even manage an average score. I think I was just working against it, the weight of really what it was.
yeah, going up against Rosemary's Babies, like even Levine himself, when he wrote a sequel book, couldn't really go up against Rose. Like it's a big task.
And I long overdue a revisit, but I always say to people, I'm not the biggest fan of Rosemary's Baby anyway. I have that thing in my mind that I feel she's always too passive, and if you've ever been scared away from the vicinity of a protective pregnant woman, you kind of know what nature comes out there. So I thought I might have more leeway with Apartment 7A than most people, but it just it just didn't really work, and it wasn't really scary, and obviously feels pretty predictable as well, because you know. Yeah, again, if you know what it is, you know where things have to go by a certain point.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
the
was
problem with the problem with any prequel film, which
yes, yeah. But some have a bit more room to move around than others. But
yeah, but it made me think of the Thing prequel, where just like,
Mhm.
ooh, guys, why would you do that to yourself? So, because Craig couldn't join us to record, that means I gotta fill in his pick, but I had a hard time choosing. So I got help, and I'll tell you what my pick is going to be later. But I did watch one of the movies it almost was, which was Mr. Wong Detective. Mr. Wong series is one of the Asian detective franchises that started in the oh man, when did, like, the 1930s, I think, is when Mr. Wong started, and Charlie Chan might have started a little bit before that. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. And Mr. Moto came after all of them. But they're three very different series that are based, they have white actors playing Asian leads to varying degrees of offensive. Like, Yellowface is not okay, but I hate to say it, at its time, it's what they all did. So sometimes you just gotta kind of roll with it. And I really like Karloff as Mr. Wong. He doesn't play him as a stereotype or a caricature, and apparently it's one of the reasons why the series isn't as long running as some others. Uh, and he tries to play him with dignity and give what respect he can to it, despite the issues baked in and then forced on him. But it's a good one. It's a good mystery that's decently done for no money. If you want a B detective film from the 1930s, you can do much worse. I enjoy them. I will make the podcast watch them at some point. I have no shame when it comes to these things. I just it's just one of those things where it's a shame that these haven't gotten like a not with another honky playing it, but that we haven't returned to Mr. Wong or Mr. Moto to do them the justice they deserve, because the stories weren't camp. They weren't meant to be, racist caricatures like Charlie Chan tended to be. But we haven't gone back to Philo Vance either, and they removed his one character trait also. Anyway, that's getting sidetracked.
You've always been a big fan of Yellowface. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
No, that is not what I'm saying.
Is that? I mean, it sounds kind of like what you're saying.
Not what I'm saying.
I get it tight often enough on the show and accused of racism, and you're like, I'm not saying Yellowface is good, but
I'm not saying it's good. It's bad.
You did have a but.
I'm saying that we can't put our morals on old media sometimes. Just like Mickey Mouse is, despite what Congress is trying to tell you, a minstrel show and based on blackface at the heart of it. It doesn't mean Mickey Mouse should still be viewed through that lens. It's why I said I wish they'd redo Mr. Wong properly.
Now I'm hearing you also don't mind the odd minstrel show, is what you said. This is just getting worse for you.
I don't know how you got that, so I'm going to move on. Another series is one we've actually watched one from before, The Falcon. And I almost made them watch the 1943 movie I watched this week, which is The Falcon and the Coeds, which that is a fun series. It's about, a sleuth played by Tom Conway in the first half, and then it's his brother in the second half, George Sanders. And their Switch Off movie is really good because it has both of them in it. And the Falcon is your standard suave amateur sleuth, and in this one he is backed up by a bevy of young starlets that RKO wanted to make bigger. It's fun. It's a solid little fun mystery from that time period. What you can say is Dave likes mysteries, even when they're cheesy and maybe a little problematic. But being a honky, that stuff doesn't touch me. As a straight white male, these things just kind of roll off my back because they don't affect me directly. And I understand why they would to other people. And I respect that. But the one new thing I watched this week was an English language Hong Kong action film directed by Kinji Tanigaki. Do you know what movie that is? Do you know what movie that is?
I do.
Yeah, The Furious. I fucking love The Furious. You've seen The Furious. That was a Kevin 7, right? At least, right?
Oh, it was higher than that.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah.
It is just okay. Like I could nitpick it. I could be like, yeah, the screenplay's a little weak, and it is. But this movie, it's 2 hours, but it's literally just 7 action scenes that are amazing. Zai Mao plays a mute everyman whose daughter is kidnapped, and that puts him in the path of a journalist played by Joe Taslim, who is looking for his missing wife as they take on a child abduction ring, and it is so good. The action scenes are so well done, and it's so well shot. It does everything right. When it comes to the action, you get to see what's going on. It's not all just close-ups. It's not the same single move over and over and over. There is a gun that shows up, but it's only like one gun, and it doesn't shoot anybody. Because this is about beating the living shit out of each other, and it is so good. This has a hammer-wielding fight that is probably... I would put it on par with Oldboy, personally speaking. It is a good scene. The scene in the ice-making place is fantastic. I love this movie so much. This movie was so much fun. I enjoyed the shit out of it, and the fact that I have not heard more people talk about it depresses me to no fucking end. You should go watch this. This sets a high bar in action films that I don't think we have hit since The Raid.
I think I said to you last week when I was watching The Odyssey, Nolan doing his structural stuff did help to make it lead towards a sort of cinematic climax that was satisfying and had me sort of grinning and all hyped up. Yeah,
Speaking
I
of,
I
I'll say it
was
after you're done.
I was grinning more and more hyped up though when the hero of the Furious has his hammer ready and chases a guy into a club that has an octagon in the middle of it with mixed martial arts going. I was like, he's going to end up in there. He's got the hammer. It was fucking amazing.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, it was an absolute blast. I had a great time. I was just like that too. But you know what else? I finished my week. I saw Kevin, guest, doing the no spoiler review of the Odyssey over with our buddies at Watch Skip Plus. Cupcake and the Wildebeest. How's it going, guys? And the fact that you said Tyler is a Nolan hater and I'm sitting right fucking here screaming at my phone. Fuck do you mean, Tyler?
Well,
I mean, he is a Nolan hater.
yeah, I mean, he mentions it more than you do.
He does.
You have a general sweeping disdain for so much that it's less noticeable sometimes. Tyler is very much,
I'm not going to argue that.
He loves a lot of stuff, and he's like, Nolan, no, can't really stand him. I can't remember the one Nolan film. Is it Batman Begins?
Is it Dark Knight? I think it's Dark Knight.
Maybe I don't want to misspeak, but I know there's kind of one.
But it might be Begins because of his love for Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Maybe, and that does have the choppier editing.
Yeah. This week we paid tribute to an actor we all love, and it is a shame that Craig and Tyler couldn't join us because I know they really did want to because they also adored the work of Sam Neill. So this week we covered 4 of his films throughout his career. One I still have feelings on, but we watched the 1977 New Zealand political thriller Sleeping Dogs, the 1989 Australian horror thriller Dead Calm, the 1994 supernatural American horror In the Mouth of Madness, and the 2012 American romantic drama film The Vow. Fucking Tyler. He is still upset about that Star Wars special where we made him watch all the Ewok movies. That was not something to take out on Sam Neill. I'm just saying. So I defer, but I'm going to throw myself on the sword, and we're going to talk about The Vow to get it out of the way. This is inspired by a true story. It's about a woman named Paige and her husband Leo. After leaving a movie theater on a snowy night, they get hit at a stop sign. While Leo walks away unscathed, Paige has lost memory of the last 5 years of her life. And they say it's about him, leading Paige to explore her life and fall in love with her again. But that doesn't actually fucking happen in the movie at all. Instead, it's about a guy being pissy that his wife has brain damage and wandering around like a sad asshole, not being very helpful or very nice. They do have a date, and that scene was cute. Okay, so let's cover this as a Sam Neill film first. Sam Neill is in roughly 5 minutes of the movie. He plays Paige's father. Paige is played by Rachel McAdams, and that's the only. Okay, Rachel McAdams is adorable and charming no matter what she's in, and Paige, she does an admirable job with Paige. It's not a good screenplay. That's like patently obvious at every moment. It's not well directed. It is directed by Michael Suxey. If I said that wrong, I am sorry. He made the terrible Drew Barrymore, Jessica Lange, Grey Gardens. Jessica Lange is also in The Vow. Absolutely wasted. I really hated their Grey Gardens. Just watch the fucking original documentary called Grey fucking Gardens. But, whatever. It's terribly directed. It's poorly edited. It's lit okay. I'll say that. It's shot fine. Little bland, but it's fine. Jessica Lange has one scene where she rocks the shit out of it, but it's like 3 seconds. Scott Speedman is there, and well, I think after 8 years, I've made my feelings on Scott Speedman absolutely clear. There is no reason for Scott Speedman to be in anything ever. Ever. The dude is just walking suck. And in this, he's terrible. Like, I get you're not supposed to root for him getting back together with McAdams' character, but he is so bland and so bull that, like, when he's on screen, he's just, it's like, oh, here's walking filler. Speaking of walking filler, they give Channing Tatum's Leo a fistful of friends. There's 5 friends and a coworker. I don't even remember the friends' names. Like, I don't even know why they're fucking there. They're in a grand total of 30 seconds. They don't have any relationship with either of them. They're just there. He does have a bit of a relationship with Lily, played by Tatiana Malzani. Malzani does her best with what she's given. Again, she has 1 or 2 decent scenes, but they're 2 seconds. This movie moves at such a breakneck pace. It never lets you feel their relationship. You know nothing about the relationship before the accident. The relationship after the accident really isn't one worth dealing with. If they dropped the husband and they made it a drama about Paige's character and her family, it would have been so much better and more interesting. Instead, we've got like a really bland it's not a comedy. I want to call it a rom-com, but it's not. It's not a romantic. It's not a drama. It's just dull. And it's done from Leo's perspective. And Leo is nothing. I will be clear. I enjoy Channing Tatum, but Channing Tatum's career has 2 very distinct eras. There is pre-Magic Mike and post-Magic Mike. And this was made as a pre-Magic Mike film where I guess he's attractive enough, but he's just bland. He's so bland that they killed him off for the G.I. Joe sequel so he would never come back. He's not good in it. It's White House Down Channing Tatum, who is just dull. I guess he looks okay if we were to take a still, but he can't carry this movie, and they want him to. And instead we get voiceover from him where he just comes off like an asshole. It's just not good. It's not worth your time. It's not worth any of the good cast members' time. I'm glad they got paid, but holy shit, man, their agents need to write them apology notes for getting them in this piece of crap. It sucks. And it's just not good. It's just not good. And I'm sorry that we watched it on a Sam Neill tribute film episode, because this does not do his legacy any favors. Anybody could have played his character, it wouldn't have changed it. This movie blows. Oh, fun fact, the real company this is based on are divorced, because while they were filming it back in 2010, apparently the husband, Tim Carpenter, started a long ass affair on his wife. And she when she found out years later, she immediately left him, which is, a good call for her. Yeah, this movie sucked, and it doesn't even like touch on the. I don't get it. I don't get why this was made, or why I was made to watch it. I'm gonna be angry about this movie for a while.
I'm not as angry about it as you, Dave, but it's just there, When I scroll down to see like other titles on IMDb after I watched The Vow, it's like it's a collage of bland posters like The Vow. You get The Longest Ride, The Best of Me, Safe Haven, The Fault in Our Stars, The Notebook, The Lucky One, Love Rosie, A Walk to Remember, Dear John, and then other ones that might seem a bit better just because they have Rachel McAdams in them. That's it. It's this real like fucking comfort blanket of bland that you get, and that's really what The Vow is. But to me, I like I can put up with Tatum in it a bit more than you. I like McAdams in it. I'm happy for the moments we have Sam Neill. It's not enough. Certainly not enough for the tribute episode, Dummy Tyler. That's about it. And there's interesting stuff at the heart of it that isn't explored enough. Like that that idea of not having the memory, and then who can take advantage of that, and who really wants Rachel McAdams' character to come back to who she is. I do like when she has encounters with people and things end up playing out in a repeat of past events. And that's not to say she's remembered everything, but it's kind of a shrug in terms of, well, what do you think was going to happen? She's lost her memory. She's the same person that she was, though, in terms of moving through life. And if you weren't compatible then, you're not necessarily going to be compatible forever. And if she had issues with her parents then, something's got to come up. And I like that. But I know what you're saying about it being from the point of view of Tatum's character. I get that some could view that as a big misstep.
Which I did.
Yeah, but I kind of like him in it, and it's like they are unnecessarily dickish to him, and just the way they are, because and in terms of how he is to everyone else, he's not. Like, he gives them no reason to think he's bad. He's not the reason she didn't catch up with other people. He's not the reason she didn't have this closer relationship with her parents and family. And then he is working alongside her when she's getting these relationships sorted again with her kind of clean slate of memory. And so I like that he's in there being generally pretty decent. I know he is complaining and moping about. I don't think the film does a good job really in terms of both of the leads, kind of giving them the chance to have the proper portrayals that they should be able to give. Like McAdams immediately just doubts and kind of acts in denial of everything, because you do get that scene with the doctors like, do you want to remember? And even that feels unfair with a doctor. Like, saying, no, are you sure it's not because you just don't want to remember stuff? She's you've said to her before that the brain can just be really funny and you can't predict anything. But now she's like, are you sure? There's just no reason why you try to keep things forgotten. Like, that's unfair. I think it's unfair to just show her being quite snappy and impatient with others, because she does need that time. She does need to acclimatize and have the room to figure things out. Channing Tatum is trying to help, but then he doesn't help. Like when he takes her home and there's about 20 people in the room waiting to say hello to this person who can't remember them. It's very uneven, and that is what works against it. They should have either, I think, kept it pretty sweet and light, or done more with the whole idea of, the people around Rachel McAdams could, over time, be trying to write out whatever narrative they want to craft for her to buy into. And that could have been much more dangerous and intriguing in terms of the film, especially if you're just being inspired by a true story rather than trying to tell it outright. So I do like it more than you, Dave, though. I think it's like, for a romantic drama, it's absolutely fine. It leads but if I was rating this purely based on does it deserve to be in the Sam Neill tribute episode, it would be minus 10,000 thrown in the toilet, and I would explode the toilet.
Do you know why I think I've really pushed me into hating it? Not only did they frame the whole thing through him, even though it's not his story at all, is that they then made it in either or. She was either how she was 5 years ago, or she becomes the exact person she was before the accident, but not a third option. And that feels more likely and interesting. That's all. Just how
For me, and look, I know you can't obviously recreate how someone who'd gone through this would feel. I can't do that. But I think, as I say, the film didn't help in terms of it's like they also gave her stacks of what you would construe as evidence for a life she's had, and there were still scenes where she's like, "Oh, but I don't know. But how do I know? But I don't know." And that's not to say she wouldn't still be like, she wouldn't know her feelings. She wouldn't have any emotional connection. It's not to say that's there, but there was a real extended length of deniability when everything was there for us to look. If she said, okay, and more scenes, if she said, right, I'll buy this, but bear with me, I know nothing of this, but I can see, how this has been. That I think that would have it was something in the writing, and as it was something to give them maybe a bit more room, or just like thread the needle better through this.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I am going to take us on a little travail to a Hobland. Can't remember the name of the village already, Dave. Sorry. Is it Hobbs Hill? Hobbs Lane? In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, no, it's oh God, you kept saying it wrong, and now I'm Hobbs End. Hobbs End. I was like, what? And I had to run through all the different ones you said. I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right. No, End. Hobbs End. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think it's Hobbs Hill or Hobbs Lane in Quatermass in the Pit. And obviously Hobbs, as they say in the film,
it
Hobbs
might be.
Was like an old sort of, I think was used as a name for the devil, so it was commonly in names like that. Yeah, no, it's Hobbs something in Quatermass in the Pit. I remember that, and then rewatching The Mouth of Madness, and of course John Carpenter is a big Nigel Neill fan.
No, it's Hobbs End. It's Hobbs End and Quatermass in the Pit.
All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is the story of so Sam Neill is an insurance investigator named John Trent, and he is put on the case to hunt down a missing writer, Sutter Cane, played by Jürgen Prochnow, and he goes there with another woman who works for the publishing company, Linda, played by Julie Carmen. They end up at Hobbs End, which is apparently a fictional town created by the writer. So it's this constant, fluid nature of reality and what may have been created by the writer. But Sam Neill's character does try to hang on to the hope that actually this is all just one big PR stunt, and all of the quirky strangeness is just going to help book sales when things come out. So John Carpenter directs. Michael DeLuca wrote this. It's as far as I'm aware, it's an original film. I don't think it's adapted from anything. Obviously, there are Lovecraftian elements in here because you get some slithery beasties just off frame, and sometimes in the frame you get Sutter Cane feels very Stephen Kingish. You get a number of different direct influences that work really well, and I think, I mean, it's a tough call, but this is this is one of Sam Neill's best performances, and that's partly to do with, it's one of the films where he is the focus for so much of the runtime. This is really him throughout the movie. There's a decent selection of supporting cast members around him, but it feels very much like Sam Neill's film, especially in the scenes that bookend the film, which are brilliant. I love it. I kind of love everything about this. It's mad. It has has some great Carpenter music again. I think Carpenter did the score for this again, didn't he? Certainly a funky main theme.
He did. Fun
Yeah.
fact: the guy that plays guitar on the opening track, it's the guitarist from the Kinks.
Oh, nice. You've got small roles for David Warner, John Glover, Peter Jason's in there again. He's been in a few. Charlton Heston has a small role. I forget his name, but the guy who played Vigo the Carpathian is here, and
Wilhelm von Homburg.
Yeah, that's the guy. He should always be just staring malevolently out from a canvas. Frances Bay is wonderful in this as Mrs. Pickman, an old and slightly creepy hotel owner. She's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I do just love this. Is when you watch In the Mouth of Madness, it's almost like one of your favorite anthology films, because if there's a little lull, you can remember that there's another good bit just coming up. And then after that, there's another good bit just coming up. And there's another. There isn't really any, I would say, dead time, no pun intended. But if you feel there's something good on the way in every scene, whether it's a little detail that's just adding some creepiness, or the brilliance of Sam Neill's performance, and he's very good throughout this. He's very for the most part, he's quite unflappable, and then when he is flapped, he's very flapped. So I think that's the best way to describe that. And yeah, he's absolutely great. And then the one thing about this, I read that at some point, being considered for the role of Sutter Cane was Rutger Hauer, and I think Rutger Hauer would have been a great choice for Sutter Cane. I kind of wish that had happened, because Prochnow's he's good, he's fine, but he's got that, I don't know, he's got that sort of vibe of the main villain in the direct-to-video sequel to Dracula 2000, or Vampires 2. Something like that. He's that level for me. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think Rutger Hauer would have been. You believe Rutger Hauer can write shit and then think he's a god. This is just Rutger Hauer's way. So I would have liked this. When it came to celebrating and discussing Sam Neill, I really want to. We spoke about it, and nobody really had a bad word to say about him. And it was like when Bill Paxton passed. And I remember reading, I think in his memoir, Sam Neill mentioned, not necessarily for himself, but he was a bit peeved that the publicity for Jurassic Park and had like him, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, and the Universal execs basically promoting it as a film that didn't need stars because the dinosaurs were in it and were the stars. And I think it's good to have at least one film this week that reminds you of, like, Sam Neill did a lot, but he could also absolutely rock it as a star. And it's an incidental moment, but him laughing at the meta film in the film in this is one of the best things he's ever done. It's just like, yeah, like he's a star. He might be our horror movie star, but he's a star. I loved it. Thanks for picking this, Dave. Thanks for washing the rancid taste of The Vow out of my mouth with this one.
You're welcome. I am not a big fan of Lovecraft, but I am a big fan of Lovecraftian things, which I prefer to call Makian, because Lovecraft spent his whole career just ripping off Arthur Machen, but whatever, that's neither here nor there, you illiterate bastards. I really enjoy In the Mouth of Madness. I love it. Yeah, Sam Neill is great. Julie Carmen plays the editor Linda Stiles. She's really good. David Warner's in the bookend sequence. Always like to see David Warner. I agree. Frances Bay is really fun as Mrs. Pickman, which is, of course, a Lovecraft reference. Willem von Homburg is really good in his couple scenes. Like, he's essentially just the, stay out of the woods guy, but he does it like really. Like, if that dude told me to stay out of the woods, I would stay the fuck out of the woods. Just telling you. Right the fuck out. John Glover has a small role in the opening and closing. This movie was actually a long time in the making. DeLuca had written the script actually sometime in the 1980s. And Tony Randall, the director, not the actor, singer, whatever. He's the guy that butchered The Return of Godzilla into Godzilla 1985 for New World. Don't get me wrong, I do kind of enjoy what they did with it, but the original is better. He also directed he supervised production on Hellraiser 2, and he directed Children of the Night. Have you ever seen that? It's absolutely atrocious. The Karen Black film.
Not that I recall.
Yeah, he directed a live-action Fist of the North Star with oh shit, who is in that one? Gary Daniels and Costas Mandylor. It is terrible. I don't know why anybody thought giving him multiple director projects would be a good idea, but whatever. He did Amityville 1992. That's one I know that you've seen that he's done.
I mean, all the Amityville films just blend into one another.
I know. It's a title I know you've seen. I was reaching here. And I think after that, Mary Lambert was attached. Like it was a long time coming. A long time coming before Carpenter finally said yes, and it actually got made. Yeah, I really like it. I really like a lot of it. I love some of the effects in this. They're a little goofy and cheesy, but Lovecraftian stuff tends to be when put in film, because once you put a face to the cosmic horrors of horribleness, it's a little less cosmic horror of insanity and more really okay. The opening scene is the opening before they get to Hobbs End is really good. Seeing Neill look into it and actually do the work, having the recurring moment in the alley works really well. I love how all the book titles are references to other things, especially H.P. Lovecraft stuff. I really like there's King references. There's references to a lot of stuff hidden in there. Even a lot of the soundtrack bits, which are original, are references to other things. So it's all done very deliberately. It's all just a little off, which I love. I love the asylum set. I assume that's an actual decommissioned asylum, but it is so cool looking. There's a lot I like.
Oh, I think it was like an old water plant or something.
Okay, that makes sense. Also,
I did try and dive further into this one, and I did a lot of research on Event Horizon as well, Dave. But we watched that a long time ago.
A long time ago. I was, I still had a significant other when that happened, and she got very angry at me for not being a bigger fan of it. Anyway, That's an aside into my personal life. I really like In the Mouth of Madness. It does have issues, and the problem is the issues are at spots where it really shouldn't have these issues. While he looks okay, he looks kind of like a slightly crazier Neil Gaiman in this era. Jürgen Prochnow kind of sucks. Maybe if he didn't have to talk. My one big problem is there's a scene where John is starting to lose it and he finds himself in a confessional. And that'd be fine if they just then skipped the rest of that scene and he spilled out and everything else played the same. But unfortunately, they decided to give Sutter Cane a monologue there. And that monologue is some of the dumbest, worst navel-gazy crap ever. To the point that I'm kind of embarrassed that not only did somebody write it, but then, Carpenter allowed somebody to read it and then kept it in the film because it's bad and it derails everything with the whole power of a storyteller bullshit. And then the next scene, which does it again, also terribly. Like these should be, the pinnacle. This should be where it's scary and it's really starting to drive things home. But instead, they stop because they think you're an idiot and have to explain it twice. That hurts it for me. I think the rest of the film is great. It's one of my favorite John Carpenter films. Not my favorite because he made The Thing and They Live. But it's number 3. And I adore it. I really like this movie. You should run out and see it if you haven't seen it. It is maybe the best Lovecraftian style horror film ever made. And Sam Neill is absolutely brilliant. I totally agree. Especially in the asylum scenes, he brings it to such a great level. And it'd be really easy to fuck up that ending where it all dawns on him and he starts laughing maniacally. It'd be really easy to fuck that up, and Neil doesn't. Instead, he brings his A game to a B movie and just rocks the shit out of it. I love In the Mouth of Madness. I really do. I'm glad that we got to watch it finally. It's been on my list forever. Oh man, this is tough. I really liked both of the other choices. But I guess I will go with Sleeping Dogs. No, wait, that was yours, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Then I didn't have a choice. I had to go with Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is a 1977 New Zealand political action thriller directed by Roger Donaldson, who also did The Bounty, the Mel Gibson version of that. And he did Cocktail, the Tom Cruise movie, and Dante's Peak. Actually, I think he did the World's Fastest Indian. Like, he had a pretty decent little career. Honestly, I mean, yay. And Sleeping Dogs is about a fascist takeover of an unnamed small nation of English-speaking and native people living in harmony. It can really only be New Zealand, but I don't think they ever actually say the word New Zealand. It is about a man named Smith who, after separating from his wife, moves to a small island and finds himself set up as the fall guy for staged terror attacks, which then draws him into a guerrilla resistance eventually. Man, you mentioned Sam Neill having star power and In the Mouth of Madness, and he's got it in spades here. I think this one, I have not seen Sleeping Dogs before. It's the only film we watched this week I had not seen before. And Neill just fucking is amazing. I also liked Sir Ian Moon as Bullen. Warren Oates shows up as Willoughby. Warren Oates is always a reliable actor. It's really good, and I think it. Now, I could see an argument for saying it drags a bit in the middle, but the opening, as everything falls apart, and we're with a guy who's trying to keep himself out of it, and then getting dragged in forcefully, is fantastic. Okay, you might be able to argue that the hotel segment, because this film is very much divided into three sections. There's the opening, there's the hotel, and there's the ending. And the last act is so fucking good. It is so good. It is such a tinge. It goes from being a really solid political thriller with actiony elements to just an incredibly well done survival thriller in the bush. I enjoyed this so much. I really did. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, and I got to give it so much credit for like going there. I will say I think the fact that they kind of tried to both sides, both the fascists and the extremists opposing them, is a bit, well, it's a bit too 1970s for my taste. Fascist bad. Just because the guys opposing them have to go a little extreme does not mean that they're exactly the same, guys. I'm just putting that out there. This is actually based on a book called Smith's Dream by Casey Steed. Casey Steed was a poet and literary critic. I know he wrote other, and he was a very staunch supporter of Maori and rights and feminism in the 1980s in New Zealand. I think he was a staunch supporter. I might be getting it wrong. I might be flipping it. No, I think he both sides that also. Now that I think about it, he both sides both the malicious intent and unwillingness of anyway, he both sides that also. Now that I think about it, so at least he was consistent. So I think it falls apart a little bit for not having a stronger view on it and trying to be like, oh, the middle ground, but fuck the middle ground, That's just how I see it. I did really enjoy it. I think it is worth checking out. I don't think there's any good releases in the States, so if you need help, I'll help you. Wink.
Yeah, I took a gamble with this one. I blind bought this a while ago. There was an Arrow release here, and I actually had no idea what it was about. I remember seeing it advertised. It was a 70s film with a leading role for Sam Neill. I was like, yeah, I'm happy to check that out. It's an interesting and very strange one, and I liked it. And I may be projecting here, but to me, it felt even it felt strangely easier to buy into now and see as a possibility for anyone. Compared to even, I don't really know or remember world events from 1977. I was almost 2 then, but it's a very different world nowadays. But you could see someone inadvertently becoming involved with some organization that is fighting back against, you know, a growing authoritarian regime, and whether they want to or not, their actions, you know, from perhaps trying to just stay out of the way and have a quiet life, could end up becoming connected and more stronger to a big fight back. That's the way I viewed it now, anyway. And I probably appreciate more now than I would have if I'd seen it, you know, at a much younger age when I was trying to first make my way through lots of movies that I'd missed and never heard of before. But I like it. I think it has a lot to say. I don't know, you know, whether it was very extra relevant or pointed when it was made at that time, for whatever was going on. I mean, do you have any idea of the historical context in the real world there, Dave, when it came out?
No, not offhand.
I can't think of anything in particular that's a big, say, big sort of upheaval in the world of New Zealand then. But maybe there was. Maybe there was a, you know, a change coming in the wind or something. But yeah, it feels very easy to view now as something plausible. I think Sam Neill's great in it. I agree with Dave that Ian Moon is really good as well as Bullen. And it was a pleasant surprise to see Warren Oates come in, and his character is like really well used, and it's strange that it feels like a very good Warren Oates character, but it's also just like a really good and interesting individual who is part of this machinery that Sam Neill's character then finds himself kind of working against. Yeah, I was impressed by this one. I'm not sure if I'll like end up loving it or just sort of more liking and admiring it. I agree with you, Dave, that Donaldson, I think he has a pretty good career. Let's not forget, he gave us the unforgettable Species. Mid-90s sci-fi horror.
Oh, did he do Species? I was going off memory. Okay, awesome.
Slightly porny greatness. Yeah.
Yeah.
The film I will always celebrate for having Forrest Whitaker walk into a room filled with blood and gore and his empath saying something bad happened here. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's like no shit Sherlock, the movie. And it introduced me to Natasha Henstridge, and so many happy memories for you. Anyway, Sleeping Dogs I liked. I admired. As I say, I'm not sure I loved it, but do you get what I mean? Though, it feel? I'm not going to say it feels very. I think I've overused the phrase lately, saying it feels very relevant to the here and now for movies that I've watched. But certainly, you know, you can see how that path can happen, I think, more easily at the moment than maybe a few other times in recent years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
And that leaves me with, was it Craig that chose Dead Cam?
It was, because I did In the Mouth of Madness, you did Sleeping Dogs, Tyler did The Abomination.
The Abomination. So directed by Philip Noyce, who also has a few gems tucked away there in his career. This is the tale of Sam Neill and Nicole Kidman. They are a married couple. They have recently experienced a tragic accident that has led to the death of their child. I forgot that's a pretty strong opening sequence. They're on a boat in the middle of nowhere together, and then they are boarded by Billy Zane, who claims that the boat he has come from has a lot of people in there that just didn't make it because of a bad outbreak of, I can't remember exactly what, botulism, some nasty bug.
Yeah, it's botulism. They die of the same thing that the folks at the end of Monty Python's Meaning of Life die of.
Oh, is that where death pointing to the meal?
Canned salmon, yeah.
It's based on a book that Dave will be shocked to hear I haven't read, and it's adapted into screenplay form by Terry Hayes, who wrote the certainly 2 of the Mad Max movies, and the classic that is Vertical Limit. I've owned Vertical Limit for years. I've still not watched it. I just thought it looked like cheesy greatness.
That's a fair assessment.
I might force that upon us all one day, Dave. Deadcam's great. It's just really like it's a slick, straightforward, fantastic little thriller. I think Nicole Kidman's good in this. She still has the wild, crazy frizz to her hair, and it's before she was getting properly serious about her foray into Hollywood and getting styled and managed within an inch of her life. She's really good in this. Sam Neill is really good. He's the the strong, dependable one on screen who knows what he's doing and thinks he needs to go and investigate in case people are in trouble. And then Billy Zane being the third point of this triangle is just like he's great fun. If you just ever have the Billy Zane duology of this and then Demon Knight, then you just wish he would stay in these kinds of roles forever instead of just sloping off instead to be grumpy rich guy in Titanic and spandex wearing guy in The Phantom, was it?
Yes.
And you know what? Like when I just mentioned Billy Zane movies, in my head I'm like, yeah, I didn't mind The Phantom either. I'm like, oh, Titanic's Titanic. If Tyler was here, he would be torn as soon as I mentioned Titanic, because we know he loves that as well. But it's just like Billy Zane, I think, is great at being fun, fun and entertainingly dangerous, and he's great in Dead Cam. I think, as I was saying at the very start of this recording about the invite, 4-handers need 4 good performances. For the most part, this is a 3-hander, and all 3 are just really good. If anyone's slightly weak, I would say it was Kidman, but that's only because of how they need her character to be. She is there with Billy Zane for a lot more of the runtime, whereas Sam Neill is away exploring the other boat. So I don't think her performance is weak, but I think her character has to, like, she has to not necessarily overlook things, but act as if she's tolerating strangeness for quite a bit longer than most of us would tolerate it. And that's, going up until and into the third act. So you're just waiting for the third act to really kick in there. But yeah, I think it's one of the better thrillers of this ilk from the, what you say, like peak times or mid-80s to early to mid-90s for this kind of thing. When we're thinking Dead Cam,
yeah, rich people
single
on
white
a
female,
boat
Pacific
thrillers
Heights.
became, yeah.
Well, yeah, but and also happy or damaged couples having their bubble burst by some gate crashing stranger with darker issues running underneath. But yeah, Dead Cam is one of the better ones from that selection. It's just really, really good. It's really well done. everybody's doing good work. I think it's I think it was a good selection.
Yeah, I like Dead Calm quite a bit. I'm gonna disagree with Kevin a little. I think Kidman is stellar in this. If anybody in this cast is weak, it's Zane.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How
Kidman has
dare
to do
you?
all the emotional heavy lifting in this film repeatedly, doing some really hard shit. Meanwhile, Billy Zane just kind of is there a lot. He's not creepy enough. He's not crazy enough. He doesn't do it well. I said it. He just comes off as boring ass Billy Zane, like he fucking always is. The only time he didn't is Demon Knight. I fucking said it. Fortunately, Kidman does the heavy lifting, and she does it really well. Sam Neill is great, but he's in the Poseidon Adventure, and she is in, How to Make Friends and Not Get Murdered. And they're both really good. Like it's well made. It's tense when it needs to be tense. Yeah, I was a big fan. I just don't have much to say about it. I was a big fan. I do know that this is actually, it is based on a book, but in the book, it's a series. So I think it's the second book in the series.
Oh,
Yeah. And Orson Welles tried to make it, but they had financing issues. And before he could get it finished, the actor he hired as his lead passed away. So it is now missing. I think there's a work print floating around there, but the negative is lost, and it was never able to be finished, which is a shame. But it's a solid one. It's a solid ocean-based thriller. Sam Neill is great. The last act is really good. Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. And I hadn't seen this in forever. I'd forgotten all about it. So getting a chance to go back to it for the first time in a long, long time was really good. I just don't have much to say about it. That's my problem with Dead Calm. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it, but I just don't have much to say about it, Unlike Tyler, who I'm sure would have been very upset about my Billy Zane hate, but Billy Zane sucks. I'm sorry. It's time to pick one. And for me, it's In the Mouth of Madness. But I don't think you can go wrong with either Dead Calm or Sleeping Dogs. I really don't. I think they're three really... We watched three really strong movies this week with really strong performances from one of the best actors of his generation. This was a good week overall. I am very happy to say that. Yay.
I would pretty much echo what you said, Dave. What I will do is also mention that I've been a big fan of Neil since Omen 3, The Final Conflict, and I know that there aren't too many big fans of that movie around, but I still am. I got to wax lyrical about it with Dr. AC a while ago. And also, as I mentioned to you before we start recording, there's a little film I watched years ago called Dean Spanley, and I recommend, if people can check it out. I'm not sure if I can remember now where I saw it, if it was at a festival or if it was tucked away on a streaming service. But Dean Spanley is the one. But yeah, from this, In the Mouth of Madness, and I agree, you can't go wrong with two of the other three choices for your Sam Neill content.
Next week, usually Craig will get a pick, but if you don't show up, you don't get a pick. And I was lucky enough to take it. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to hit two of my favorite things, Redheads and Mysteries. This is the second film in the series. We did watch the first one many years ago. This stars one of my favorite redheads, Myrna Loy, and it is After the Thin Man.
My choice just dropped through my letterbox the other day, and I'm aiming to try and make myself watch more of my own purchases. So it is 1973's The Outfit that stars Robert Duvall, Karen Black, and Joe Don Baker. So I'm
Joe
hoping
Don
for
Baker.
good stuff.
Excellent. Kevin, if you
Yes,
could give him the business, please.
sure. Please like, subscribe, follow, enjoy us wherever you get podcasts. We are on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Blue Sky. We are on well, I'm on Mastodon. There's different ways you can get us. Email us at raidersofpodcast@gmail.com. And we do YouTube stuff. So the episodes appear there, the minisodes appear there, and sometimes if I have enough shiny things to show off and there's a lull between the episodes, I will put a video there if I want to lose our subscribers.
Nice. No, you do the closeout. You did that so well. You've earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Give us a like, follow, subscribe. As I say, check us out in other places. I know, Dave, you've made guest appearances elsewhere as well. And that's us. R.I.P. to Sam Neill. We have enjoyed commemorating his stardom this week. And until next time, see ya.
See ya.